If you do not have self-trust, you do not take any action, therefore you do not have any results.
Welcome to the Caroline Schmid podcast. I'm your host, Caroline, and this is the stripped, naked version of my life. This podcast is here to inspire, to support you, and to learn together. On here, I share my raw stories of my life, my wins and failures, all about energy healing, spirituality, and consciousness, and most importantly, on how to better your mental health. I hope you enjoy, and let's get into it.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Caroline Schmid podcast. I'm your host, Caroline, and I'm so happy that you're here today because we're talking about the number one factor why you are not achieving results. Now, this episode is going to be unlike any other because this is not about goal setting or like the perfect way how to achieve your results or any other productivity method. But we're talking about the essential source, the essential base to achieving your goals and results is self-trust. That's the base and that's the topic of today. First, we need to identify what self-trust is. So trusting yourself and your abilities. Now, self-trust is built on previous, so past experiences and wins. Now, in German, we have one word that describes two words in English, and that's first, trusting yourself, so sich selbst vertrauen, and Selbstvertrauen, so the noun of the verb, basically, means self-confidence. So what we can learn from that is that Selbstvertrauen, self-trust, is the base to self-confidence. Because if you do not trust your abilities, if you do not trust your skills, you're not going to make and take any action towards your goals, and therefore you won't have any self-confidence in your presence. You don't have any self-confidence in your abilities because you do not have any previous work done, because you're so blocked in not trusting yourself and not believing in yourself, in your abilities, that you're not taking action, and therefore you do not have any results. So self-trust is the base for self-confidence and therefore for taking action towards your goals. And that's why I call this episode the number one factor why you're not seeing any results. Is because if you do not have self-trust, you do not take any action, therefore you do not have any results. So self-trust gets you where you want to go and certain results. Now, what if you lack self-trust? And if you're listening to this episode, you are probably lacking self-trust in certain areas of your life. So the lack of self-trust, as I mentioned before, is when you don't trust your abilities, your skills, you do not take any action, therefore you do not achieve a goal, you don't get and see any results. Now, we have two different people. One who is super skilled, but lacks self-trust. And then we have the other person who has some skills, but like is not a pro in that genre, but believes in themselves 1,000% and trusts its abilities that I can do that. And if I do not know how to do that, I can find a way on how to learn how to do it. Meaning I can learn the skill and then achieve the desired result. So if we have these two people, one is super skilled, one is skilled, but the one who is skilled lacks self-trust and the other believes in themselves. So now question to you, who is gonna get results? Who is gonna get further in life? The one who is super skilled, has all the freaking degrees that you can get, all the certificates, is educated to the last highest bit that you can get in that degree or in that genre. And the one has like a mediocre education, but knows how to get stuff done based on their belief. I think it's logical who is going to get results and who is going to be more successful is person number two, who knows that self-trust is the basis. They believe in themselves, and therefore they have the self-trust, they have the self-confidence, and they get shit done. Therefore, people who win, who are the most successful in life, are not the most skilled, but are the people who most believe in themselves and take action. Without taking action, you can believe as much as you want, you can have as much skills as you want to have, but without taking action, like, the process is just missing, because from getting from point A to point B, there needs to be a journey, a process, and the process is taking action. I'm going to give you now an action plan on how you can increase your self-trust, your self-confidence, and therefore increase your winning percentage and get results. The first step that you need to do is to acknowledge everything that you have achieved in the past. For example, I came back from China from my student exchange semester 7 years ago. And when I look at everything that I have experienced in that semester, when I signed up for that, I would not have been prepared or have the skills or just like be in the right mindset, in the right state to be able to achieve certain results and overcome the many challenges that I was faced with. After I came back from China, so 7 years ago, I looked back at these several months and realized it was super hard. I was not thinking that I would be able to overcome these challenges in the moment itself, so when I was in China. But at the same time, I had so much fun. It was such a blast of a time. I met such amazing and funny people, which we created such genuine friendships, because a lot of people that I met there were foreigners themselves, were doing an exchange student program themselves, just like in different high schools. We went on trips as much as they allowed us to go from the school, but that's a whole different story. And I grew so much. I grew a whole different part of my character, which today I am able to do things, to think in a different way, to have a different mindset, because I was in China and experienced the good, the bad, the dirty, everything, but also the good, the funny, and the experience dense situation. Another example is giving birth. When I'm at the gym, and this is just a small, it's not a huge challenge or something. You build your self-trust on small daily wins, okay? Now, when I'm at the gym and I am lifting the weights and it gets very difficult and very hard, I think back on giving birth. When I was giving birth at home, I did not have a chance to just opt out, to pause everything, just because I was not able to continue. I was forced to continue, and the moment that it was over is when I went through the entire challenge of giving birth. So now when I'm at the gym and I realize, oh, I cannot do another rep or finish my set, I think back on giving birth. I was like, okay, Caroline, you were able to give birth, so you will be able to finish your set. So now I want you to think back onto past experiences that prove your abilities, okay? To prove your ability to get stuff done, to do hard things, to learn a different language, to get lost somewhere and you find your way back to your home, or whatever it is. I want you to take a few minutes for yourself, write those experiences down, which were very life-changing for you. And everyone has experiences, situations in their past that they overcame, which are huge, life shifters, okay? I want you to write down the experiences, and I want you to write down the abilities that you needed to activate and that you learn from basically that experiences. So for example, giving birth is doing hard things physically, okay? really going over my boundary that I thought that I had physically. So now at the gym, I can do more reps, I can finish my sets easier because I have the proof from my past that I was once able to do that, which means that I'm more likely to also be able to do it in the present moment. So I want you to write down the abilities that were required from you to overcome this challenge or to achieve a certain goal. Number 2 is to start winning on a small daily basis. What does that mean? You've heard of making your bed in the morning because already a small win pushes up, increases your self-confidence, and therefore you'll be able to succeed more and in a higher quantity throughout the rest of the day. These small things can be everything and anything that you like to do, okay? It could be like small household things. It could be to write one email. It could be to learn one new word in a language that you're learning right now. Whatever it is, write it down and do that day. It does not have to be like every day the same task. It could be that in the evening you write down one thing that you want to achieve the next day, and please, it needs to be very small. In Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about how you build your habits is based on if you want to be someone who goes on runs on who runs a marathon. The first habit, if you're not a runner at all, the first habit that you need to require or acquire needs to be putting out your sports gear, your sports clothes, your shoes the day before you go on the run. Okay? This is the habit. You're not going to go running. You're just putting out your running clothes. That's the habit. And you do that for a week until it's so automatic that you can increase the habit by a percentage, which means that after you put out the clothes in the evening, in the morning, you put the clothes onto you, okay? You put on the clothes, you're still not gonna go for a run. You need to acquire the habit of putting out your clothes and putting them on. That's it. And you do that, and then you increase the same thing. Then you go once around the block, 1 minute run, for example. And after you do that, you're going to increase the habit by more and more, and you'll be much more able to succeed at your running goal because you have the previous wins stacked up in the past that you now have so much more self-trust and self-confidence in being able to, okay, I am someone who puts on sports gear, which means that I am more able to succeed in doing a workout, going for a run, than if I would not have that small habit already created in my day-to-day life. So action number 2 is to start winning on a small and daily basis. And of course, the energy healing part cannot be missing, is that you need to clear your detrimental beliefs out of your system. We cannot just build positive beliefs about ourselves if we have like a huge backpack of shit and detrimental beliefs about ourselves. Now, think back of a situation, and when I'm going to make an example, I think an example from your past will pop up in your mind automatically. Think back to a situation you had in school. You needed to do a project in school where you had to create something and you were really passionate about that project. You gave it your best. Now this presentation time and a classmate of yours comes up to your project and judges it that it's not perfect, it doesn't look as nice as theirs, whatever. Or you do not get the grade that you wanted for it. Or what happens rather often, which is very sad, is that your parents don't acknowledge your efforts and talk you down or talk the project down. Where they tell you, for example, your classmate's project was so much better, or why didn't you receive the best grade, whatever it may be. I think you can resonate with one of these scenarios. And through that, having these past experiences of knocking yourself or other people knocking you down, talking bad about something that you did, or talking badly about your skills, your abilities, or not having those skills, not having these abilities, and not acknowledging your effort. So often it's about that you put so much effort in it and nobody acknowledges it. And therefore your belief increases of, okay, I am not good at getting stuff done. And especially, why should I even try to do something if, because it happened so often in the past, if I won't succeed at it perfectly anyways. So people won't be happy with the end result. That was my work that I had to do. So what happens is, because you have that detrimental belief about yourself, you do not trust yourself in getting things done because you have the proof in your past that you do not have the abilities to get stuff done in a certain field, for example. So you do not even take action because your mind, your body says, okay, why should I even try if it's not going to be good anyways? So that's why I encourage you to clear those detrimental beliefs, because we can build as much as a strong basis, as a strong foundation of self-trust. But if you have detrimental connections to self-trust, these are gonna cut that basis down very, very quickly. And every single time that you put in the effort of growing, of making that strong foundation of self-trust, and therefore then being able to increase your self-confidence and to increase your results rate, your success rate. And here comes energy healing into the whole play, because what is an episode on the Caroline Schmid podcast if we do not talk about energy healing and energy meditations? Not an episode of the Caroline Schmid podcast. So if you have a detrimental experience, a trauma, and trauma can be very small and very big, okay? It is still a detrimental, a bad information. Now, this information is saved in your energy field, and it grows and gets denser and denser the more this experience or this emotion happen in your life, okay? Meaning that what energy healing now does is that it comes into your energy field and it clears out that blockage of information, and then you're not going to resonate with detrimental beliefs about your self-trust anymore, because you do not have the information in your energy field, okay? Because you only resonate with what you have as information in your field. The easiest way on how you can receive an energy healing from me is to sign up for the meditation membership, where there are so many pre-recorded energy meditations and energy healings. So an energy meditation is a guided meditation, a full-on meditation with healing effects on that certain theme of the energy meditation. And an energy healing, there is no guidance, it's pure silence, but it's just me recording the healing frequencies on that certain theme. So if you want to build your self-trust and first clear any proof of detrimental beliefs about self-trust, self-confidence, and any other subject, the meditation membership is the easiest, the cheapest way on how you can receive that, because you can re-listen to those, redo these energy healings as often as you like. And once a month, we meet all together at the New Moon Ceremony, which is an online event where we connect with the new moon, download the moon energy into our field, into our bodies, and therefore we can then flow better with the moon energy through the rest of the month. Because what does the new moon stand for? It stands for manifesting, accelerating, and growing. And we want to grow further, we want to grow in character, we want to grow our abilities, we want to grow our projects, we want to get results. So sign up for the meditation membership. The link is in the description. I hope you got something out of this episode. I for sure did. And it would mean the world to me if you could give a 5-star rating on Spotify. It helps me a ton, and it brings out the podcast to many more people who need and want to heal and grow with us all together. See you and hear you in the next episode.